Hi everyone. I'm going to start the meeting now while more people join in. Um, my name is Hasani Seniseti. I'm going to be the one conducting the class today. Um, Today's class, I just wanted it to focus on how you can study better um, with AI. What are some useful AI tools that you can use in order to learn more effectively, memorize better, just become faster with your work, um, and then also build a custom AI study tutor that will teach you and help you learn topics that you might not be able to understand in class more clearly and at your own pace. If at any time you need me to slow down or repeat something, feel free to raise your hand and say it out loud or type it in the chat, whichever is easier for you. Um, I'll keep a watch for both of those. But with all of that said, I am going to start for today. So the first thing that I am going to cover is going to be AI prompting. So this is useful for a variety of AI chatbots. So a couple of examples could be like the most famous would be ChatGPT, or other smaller AIs, but still relatively known would be Perplexity, Claude, stuff like that. So basically, AI prompting is sending a message to the AI that's going to help you get the best result out of it. So I'm going to start talking about the prompting now. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick slideshow overview of prompting. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or raise your hand. But I'm just going to go over the essentials of how to create a good prompt real quick. So just a quick introduction to AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's basically allows machines to understand and respond to information. You use AI tools every day, whether it's Google Translate or Snapchat filters or even the suggestions you get from YouTube. So even you're using it subconsciously without even knowing it. AI can help a lot with school tasks. It can give you feedback on your essays. It can help you organize, create notes, make study plans, or the most important, for me at least, is explaining tough topics in a simpler way that will help you understand. So the prompt is essentially the message that you send to AI. So whatever you type into like the chat box of ChatGPT, for example. So the 5-step framework to creating a good prompt is first the role. You should tell AI what it should act like so it can pull more accurate data from its database. So for example, if you're creating a prompt for studying, for example, say act like a math teacher or act like a science teacher or a science professor. So that way it more clearly understands how it should present the information to you and what information it should pull. And then you're telling the AI what task to do. So what is it actually doing for you? That could be creating a study plan. That could be making flashcards, making a quiz, answering a question, or like explaining a step-by-step response to a question, something like that. It's just what exactly the AI is doing. And in order for it to do that task, it needs some context. So you can say, this is the subject I'm studying. I'm in this grade. I want these types of questions. And that's like your context. So the AI understands how it should put the information on what exactly would be helpful in explaining the information to you. And then we have references, also known as few shot prompting. But basically, what references are is you're giving examples to the AI of how to answer your question. So these can be really useful to the AI because then it knows exactly what it's doing as opposed to taking a more general response to answering your question. So a really good way to guide the AI in the right direction is to give it examples of what you want. So if you're asking it to make you a quiz, maybe you can give a practice question from a worksheet you got in school or the exam you're taking, the specific format. So with that practice question, it can make more questions exactly like it. So that really helps the AI. And then the final step is iterate. Like just go back and check, okay, is this response what I wanted? If not, you can go back, change the prompt a little. A few words can really change a lot. So that's a really useful way to just modify the prompt and get the answers that you want. Okay, if we don't have any questions, I'll keep going. Okay, so here are some example prompts that I thought would be useful for different types of students. So this can be replaced with any kind of exam, but you can say you are a blank exam preparation tutor who simplifies hard topics for secondary school students or whatever grade you're in. And that's its role. The task is help me turn this topic into a study guide that includes summaries, important deadlines, and possible test questions. So that's what you're telling it to do. Your context is that I'm in class 10, I'm preparing for my science board exam or biology exam, I need to revise efficiently. You give it references, which is the topic that you're going over, some notes, and then you can iterate it and change it if there are more specifics you want to add or if you want to change something. So this is like a good example of a prompt that would give you a really specific result and what you're looking for because it has those 5 steps. And then here's another one. So for the role here, you're a question time generator trained to create MCQs based on board exam and entrance test patterns. Your task is to create 5 multiple choice questions with answers and explanations based off the topic that I give. And then you can say the context is I'm studying for this exam, and I want practice questions that mimic the actual exam. And then your references is what you're learning about, you give a focus for the topic, and then you can iterate once again. This one is just for creating a study planner. If you have a certain amount of time and you give it the AI tasks and your motivation level, it can help structure those tasks in a way that is easiest to complete all of them, that you don't get too tired, that you can focus the entire time. So that's another really useful tool to have there. And then just going a bit more into specifics real quick, if you're giving the AI a certain paragraph or a long piece of text that you want it to do something with, like you want it to summarize or you want it to create notes, you can use triple dashes, angle brackets just to put the paragraph in so the AI doesn't confuse the paragraph for a task or something you're wanting it to do. So that's a good way to separate text that you want the AI to interpret versus what you want the AI to actually read and do. Something that's really useful for me is asking it for a structured output. So sometimes AI returns information in a bunch of really long paragraphs. By asking for a structured output, like in the form of bullet points or a table, or even like a couple of sentences, maybe a certain amount of words. That way you're cutting down what the AI is giving you. You have a more clear format that you can understand. So that will be really useful. And if you need it in like a graph or a chart, it can do that for you too. And then, like I said, giving it examples and then checking whether you get the right result too is important. And then 2 other tactics for processing. Sometimes the model gets confused about how to answer a question. It'll give you the wrong result sometimes because it'll jump to an answer too quickly, which AIs can do too. So by specifying the steps that you want the model to take to reach its solution, along with telling it how to format its answer, you're making sure that the model goes through and reasons through every step that you ask it to do, and that way you ensure an answer that's more accurate than anything the model could have done on its own. So, for example, if you're solving a math problem, tell it to, okay, first factor, then like do this, do this. So that way, the AI knows exactly what to do to solve the type of problem that you're giving it, and that'll make sure you get the right answer. And then also tactic 2, kind of for the same reason, instruct the model, like for example, if you have a question and you thought of an answer to that question, like you basically wrote it out on your own, you're like, okay, I think this is the right answer, but I'm not completely sure, so I'm going to have AI check it. You should instruct the model to work out its own answer before looking at yours, because sometimes it'll look at yours and assume the answer is correct. So you want to make sure it thinks out its own answer before comparing it to yours, so that way it knows that like it's reasoned through all of the steps, and you have like the correct comparison. So that's the presentation on AI prompting and how to structure the message that you're giving to any AI in order to get a more specific and useful response. Does anyone have any questions about that? Do you want me to repeat anything or go over anything? I'll just wait for a minute. Okay. If no one has anything, we will move on. But please feel free to raise your hand and ask a question at any time. It might help someone else who's also confused about the same thing. So please don't be shy. So with that, we are going to move on to the next portion of the presentation, which is I'm going to introduce a couple of more specific AI tools that you may or may not have heard of that I think will really help you in school, learn faster. Some of them also have their own content that will be useful for you. So I think these tools are really going to be game changers like they were for me. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the first one. Okay, so this is the first tool I'm going to be talking about. It is called Note, which I'll put in the chat because the spelling is a bit weird. Actually, I'll just put the link to this. So basically what this website is I'm sure you all know Quizlet, and if you don't, it's basically a free, or it's not a free, it's a website that has a bunch of flashcards. It has a learn mode that you can go through and study the material. So it has a bunch of different flashcards that you can look over that have different study topics and everything. But you do have to pay for some of the more advanced features. Note is completely free, and it has a bunch of different features. Also, if you do have note cards that you really like from Quizlet, there's also an option, as you can see on the screen, to import note cards from Quizlet and use notes features to study them. So I think that's really great if you need the exact content from Quizlet, but also there's a lot of content here too that you can study, and you can also create your own. So first, one of the most useful tools that Note has is you can upload a file and get notes and flashcards instantly. So let's say you have a worksheet that you have from school, or you have a textbook that you're using. If you upload those files into this PDF upload, you can even upload them from Google Drive. Like you can see, you can paste the link from YouTube as well. It'll summarize that content for you, and it'll create flashcards if you ask it to. So if creating flashcards would take especially long time for you by hand, or writing it out, or even using Quizlet or something, Note is a great tool to just make those really quickly. You can also upload videos, PowerPoints, live recordings. So there's all really useful tools for you to get those flashcards and notes instantly without having to do any work, which is really useful in my opinion. And then along with that, I'm going to log in here real quickly. Basically, it has different ways for you to study. It has this, okay, this is not working. It has a learn mode that you can go through and space like repetition, so that way you can learn more effectively. You actually memorize stuff instead of basically just like trying to cram it all into your head the night before. So I think that's really useful. We have, as you can see, you can create flashcards manually, notes manually. You can also create stuff from a live recording. So if you are in a lecture or something and you have the ability to have your computer out or your phone out, you can record the lecture and Note will automatically take notes for you, so you don't have to spend time during the lecture trying to like write stuff down really quickly while you're listening to someone. I think that's going to be really useful. So you can just have a live recording and Note will auto generate notes for you. And then you can also use these exam hubs here. So basically, Note already has built-in information that you can use for learning quicker. And if you don't have a lot of material from your own school, Note is a great place to go to learn some more, have some more material. So for example, for IB students, you have all of the topics here. And if you go into something, let's see, IB chemistry, you have a bunch of like notes and note like flashcard sets that you can use to learn whatever topic that you're confused about. So that would be really useful. And you also have that for like NCERT, for example, if you're using that specific book. And all of these other classes as well. And then you also have different subjects that you can browse by. So for example, if you're studying engineering, you have like the different subset fields of engineering. And then you also have note card sets for learning about different engineering topics and like things that you may cover in school but you didn't completely comprehend. So these are a great resource. As you can see, there's like 47 pages of like note sets here, so you have a lot of material to go through. You can also bring in material from outside sources. and use that. So if you want to upload a textbook, a PDF, a video, something like that, you can also do it here. So I think that every feature in here is really useful. You also have like a snap and solve feature, so you can take a picture of a problem and it'll solve it for you. Overall, just a lot of useful tools. So I'm going to move on to the next tool. If you have any more questions about Note or how to use it, or more specific features, how to find information, please feel free to ask or even stick around after class. I'll stay for around like 5-10 more minutes if anyone has questions that they don't want to ask now or go over something more in depth. So I think this is definitely a very useful tool to have though, and I would definitely utilize it. So that's something good to have, and I also put the link to that in the chat. So next, I'm going to go over this tool called Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is, you need to be 18 plus to use it or have an email that has like a birthday that would make you above 18. So you can always create a new email and have that. But Notebook LM is a really useful tool if you're learning more complex topics. The entirety of Google AI Studio will be really useful to you if you're over 18 and or have the ability to use it. There's a bunch of opportunity to learn new skills and stuff very easily using Google AI Studio. Like if you're doing something and you're confused about it, you can even share your screen with the Google AI and it'll walk you through everything, which is really useful because it knows exactly what you're doing and it can give you personalized instructions based on what it's seeing. So that's really great. Notebook LM is a great tool for studying and just like having the like study material presented to you in a way that you understand. So I'm going to share my screen right now for Notebook LM. So as you can see, like this is my own personal account, things I've done with Notebook LM, but I'm going to create a new chat. So here you can upload any sources that you want. That could be Google Docs, slides, websites, YouTube links. You can even copy and paste text. You can upload like a PDF of a textbook or something. You can upload up to 50 sources. So there's a lot of information that Notebook LM can process. So you don't have to worry about hitting a limit. So as soon as you upload a source, so I'm going to go into this, for example, which is me studying for history. As you can see, I uploaded a source here. You have a chat feature here where you can ask questions. You even have like example questions down here if you want to use those. So you always have this chat feature that you can use. And then beyond that, what's really useful is the podcast feature or the audio overview. So basically, the audio overview will allow you to create a video or an audio recording of two people speaking to each other and talking about all the information that you gave them. So you can even change it to different languages if that helps you, but you can tell the audio overview how long to be, what specific topics to cover, if you go into the advanced feature. And even cooler, if you want to go more in depth into the topic you're learning, you can use the interactive mode, which will allow you to join the conversation and talk with the two hosts. So in that way, you can understand the information better. You can ask more questions, which is really great. Along with that, you can create study guides. You can create practice questions, timelines, briefing documents, mind maps, which are visual ways of learning. So you also have all of this that you can do, which if you're a more visual learner, then that's going to be useful to you. So Notebook LM is a great tool, especially if you're learning more complicated topics, because it'll help simplify them. It'll give you the information in different formats, whether that be text, audio, like a visual chart or representation. So that way you can learn information in different ways. It really gets into your head. And I think that's the really useful thing about Notebook LM. So does anyone have questions about anything that we covered so far? I know that was a lot of information, but I'm also going to put the name of Notebook LM into the chat in case anyone has the ability to check it out. It's a really great tool, and then overall Google AI Studio has a lot of different resources for you to use to learn and study better as well. Okay. So if no one has any questions, we are going to move on to the main part of this, which is going to be creating a study tutor with Poe AI. So I want everyone to sign into Poe AI and follow along while I do this. I'm going to put the link into the chat. Oh yeah, if someone has a question, please go ahead.
Sorry, but what is a Poe AI?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what did you say?
What's Poe AI? I haven't heard of that before.
Oh, so Poe AI is a different AI. It has a bunch of different chatbots that you can use. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. And what we're going to do with Poe AI is we're going to create a custom AI tutor. So that's going to personalize the learning to you, basically.
Thank you.
Okay, so I put the link to Poe AI in the chat. Go ahead and sign in. I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to get there. At the end, I would love anyone to share any of the chatbots they made too, or put the links to them in the chat so other students can see if they're having any trouble, or if anyone else finds the tutor helpful, they can use it as well. So I'd love everyone to follow along and try this. So I put the link in the chat. I'm going to give it a minute for everyone to sign in, and then we can continue.
I haven't really been to this app before. Can you please give me a guide on what to do? I don't know.
Okay, just like try and sign in. It should give you an option to sign in.
I've signed in, yes.
Okay, we'll go over what to do in more specific then. I'm going to give a quick overview of the app right now. If anyone hasn't signed in or is having trouble, please raise your hand or drop a message in the chat. If not, I'm going to move on to make sure that we have enough time to get through everything. So this is the Poe AI home screen. This is where you should have landed after signing in. So something that's special about Poe AI is you can use a bunch of different like GPTs in order to generate your result. So as you can see, you have GPT 4.1, these different like GPTs that ChatGPT uses for its reasoning. You have Gemini, which is the Google GPT like chatbot. You have Claude, which is another really popular one people use. DeepSeek. You have Meta, Grok. So you can use a bunch of different reasoning models in order to arrive at your answer for different like questions that you're asking Poe. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to create a chatbot with Poe. So as you can see, um, okay, so as you can see in the left-hand corner, you have this create button. Um, little smiley face dude has a little plus like plus sign on him. So this is what you're going to want to click. Um, okay, so I think there are a couple of new people that joined. So for them, I'm just going to put the link to the chat in the chat for Poe again. Just sign in, and once you arrive at this screen, click the create button in the top left-hand corner. So once you click this button, again, if I'm moving too fast, please raise your hand and let me know. I'm always okay to go back and repeat each step again. So once you click on the create button, you have these 6 things here. You want to click the first one, which is called the prompt bot. So that's just create a bot by giving it instructions. That is the first option that you have, and that's what you'll want to click. Okay, so if everyone is at the screen, we are going to keep going. So what you'll want to do next is first name your chatbot. So if you want to create a math tutor, you can name it that. If you want to create a science tutor, you can name it that. So just give it a name. It really doesn't matter. You can choose anything. I'm just going to say like math tutor. Oh, can't spell well. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be my chatbot's name. And then you can give it a description if you want. This doesn't change anything. It'll just tell people like what your chatbot will do. So that is optional. You can type a few words or you can skip it. For me, I'm just going to say helpful math tutor that explains algebra concepts. So you have that. And then next you can choose the reasoning bot that you wanted to use. Like I was talking about earlier, there are a bunch of different GPTs that the Poe like has in its like repertoire kind of here. You can choose whichever one you want. I would advise going with Claude or GPT 4o mini, but you can also use Gemini or Grok if you're feeling more adventurous. But I'm just going to stick with GPT 4o mini. I'm going to give everyone a second. Okay. If everyone is good, we are going to keep going. Um, so next is the prompt, which, like I was talking about earlier, is the message that you give to the AI to tell it what to do. So in this case, I'm going to give you guys some example prompts that you can directly copy and paste into Poe. You can change a few things depending on your grade level or what you're learning, but you're not going to have to write a prompt from scratch or anything because at your level it's going to take a while and it's going to be more complicated. So it's easier just to have um, a prompt that you can copy and paste. So I'm going to um, just include these real quick. Definitions. So these prompts are a bit longer. Um, okay, so that is the I have one more part. Okay. So this is the math prompt that I'm going to give you. So it's describing how the like chatbot should act. So you're going to say you're a professional and friendly algebra tutor for middle and high school students. So you can change that to be whatever grade you're in. So for example, it could be 6th grade or 12th grade or something like that. Um, you can personalize it to you. Um, and then it says support topics like inequalities, functions, exponents. So if these are either more advanced or less advanced than what you're learning, you can change it to be more specific to whatever you're covering in school or whatever you're struggling with. So that would be more tailored to you. And then it just says use definitions, analogies, color-coded steps, different walkthroughs and visual explanations. If you ask it, it'll give you a 3 to 5 practice problem quiz. And if you keep answering the questions, they will keep getting harder until you reach one that you can't understand or that you want it to go over. And it'll give you hints, answer choices, step-by-step solutions and explanations. So that's going to be really useful. And then overall, it's just going to be a nice tutor, very similar to a human, and it's going to be very personalized to what you need to learn because AIs can they can find gaps in your information. So if you don't exactly know what you're struggling with those practice questions and with those explanations, maybe you'll find something that you don't quite know, or the AI will ask you questions or give you explanations for something that it identifies that you're struggling with. So it's a great way to learn more effectively and make sure that you're understanding the topic really thoroughly. So that is the first prompt. You're always free to write out your own prompt. Something else that I do a lot is use ChatGPT to create a prompt for me. So let's say that I'm creating a prompt, like this is what you're going to tell ChatGPT. Um, I am creating a chatbot with Poe AI. I want to create a tutor that does this, this, this. Let's say asks practice questions, gives explanations, and explains difficult topics. I am in this grade. I am studying these things. Create a prompt for me that I can give Poe AI in order to get these results. So that's going to generate a prompt that you can give Poe, and that also makes it easier. So feel free to do that if you have access to ChatGPT and you want to try it. I also have this prompt in the chat that you can directly copy and paste into Poe. And I will give you one more prompt that is science-based, if you want to create a tutor for science as well. So please go ahead and try and create those prompts or use the prompt that I've given you. I'm going to give it like 2 to 3 minutes just so you have the opportunity to get all that information in, and then we will continue. Okay, so if no one has any questions, I'm going to keep on moving. If you do, please raise your hand or even stay after class, and I will answer those for you, and we can work through any issues that we have together. So as you can see, I pasted in the science prompt here. I also want you guys to toggle this button on so that it's purple like this. This is just the Poe auto like optimizing your prompts. So it's automatically making it better, which why would you say no to? So I'm just turning that on so you get better results. Here is a really useful tool. You can add a knowledge source for the chatbot to pull from. So if you have a specific textbook or workbook or PDF, like certain information that you want the chatbot to pull from. So if you're studying for an exam and there are specific exam materials, or like you need to get answers specifically from a textbook if you're studying for a test or something, you can always add a knowledge source here. So you can add text or you can select files, and that way you can tailor what the AI gives you as a response and what information it's going to use. So that's always really useful. Next is the greeting message. This is also optional. You can just say, "Hi, I'm your tutor." Optional, but you can just put in something. That's what the AI will say to you the second you enter the chat. So once you are done with all of that, I want you guys to hit the publish button. You can just say continue without editing. Oh, okay. It's saying the bot name is unavailable, so I'm just going to, that should work. Okay, so as you can see, I have this tutor. It's published. It's opened up into this new chat. Up here, you have chat history, so you can view everything you talked about before. You have these 3 dots, which you can use to edit the prompt or other like information about the bot. So maybe what processing GPT it's using, or like the prompt or the name, just any information that you want to edit, you can go there. And then here you have the share feature. So if you click that, you copy the link to the tutor. So I would love you all to click on the share button, and then that'll automatically copy the link to your tutor. Please put that in the chat if you're done so other students can look at it, maybe get a little bit of information or even use it if they find it helpful. So I'm going to put the link to mine here. Okay, so if you don't want to share your link, that is fine. I would also love to have a couple students present their chatbots if they're comfortable with that, just to show what you created, because this is a pretty useful tool, and I'd love to see what everyone made with their prompts and everything. Also, feel free to send a couple of messages to your chatbot and see what responses it gives you. If you have any practice questions you want it to answer, or if you want it to give you a quiz or something along those lines, please feel free to test those out now as well. I'll give a couple of minutes for everyone to try out their chatbots and share the links if they're okay with that, and then we will wrap up. Okay. With that, I am going to wrap up the class real in seeing as we have like 5 minutes left. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to stay after the class. I will be sharing the recording for this class to everyone's emails. I also have a YouTube channel that I'm putting in the chat right now, where I have recordings to other classes I've done. I have explanations for different AI tools. So I'd love for you guys to take a look at that. Subscribe if you want more updates about AI tools and everything. I give a lot of free classes, so stick around to see if there are any announcements for future classes. But yeah, I will be sharing the link to this meeting. I hope everyone found this useful, and stay after if you have any questions, but that's it for today. Thanks, everyone.